When you drop the beer for the weekend, it all goes wrong. So he's got his not allowed certificate. He does. He's got a not allowed, but have you seen the tint on these windscreens? Look at that. Yeah, you can't see out of that. Or you could be this boy, what is it? Vokabar. VHOKAR. He's going for the triple, guys. Triple certification, and he didn't know how to park in the space very well. He's done his best here.
Obviously the best McDonald's in the Western Hemisphere.
There we go, back outside the most dangerous McDonald's in the Western Hemisphere. Here we go. Oh. Well, this is Manchester. This is standard. Go on. Oh well. Oh well. Oh. There we go. All right.
At 3 o'clock. Hi Charlie.
Hello, mate. How are you?
I'm fucking fine. How are you?
Not too bad, mate.
Good.
I'll stand back. Don't come too close to me. Of course, I remember you, mate. Anyway, why is everyone fighting? Anyway, not.
Come on, Charlie.
What's the story today?
Got me all over the internet.
Hello, mate. How are you? You okay?
Never gave me a chance.
What do you want off him? Some commission?
Who the fuck? You mad?
Anyway. So a big blast of just a gunshot. Everyone's panicking because a gunshot's just gone off. I think some idiot set off a big firecracker and it caused a bit of panic. Today's it's not a tram, it's a Ford Transit. So the debate's getting exciting here. We're at the Christian preacher. What's the big guy called? Curtis, is it? Big Kurt. What have we got here? Everyone's having a good debate here.
Yes? No!
No city needs it more than Manchester,
No
mate.
city needs it for that more than Manchester. And the reason that the city of Manchester needs the gospel is because the city of Manchester is sick. It's sick.
Oh, yes.
And before people get upset that a preacher from Newcastle is down in the city of Manchester saying that you are sick, let me explain why. Take a second to look around at this place. Is this place operating in a morally healthy condition?
Nope.
Most people would say no.
Sodomites in Sodom?
Sodomites in Sodom, and we said it. And Sodom is world renowned for its particular type of sin. And the sin of Sodom was, believe it or not, sodomy. He said it. But what the sin of Sodom wasn't just that was full of homosexual and sexual immorality. That is what people like to take and just run with it. But the issue is that the sin of Sodom was so deep, it ran so deep within the people's veins that everything they desired, everything they did was a big two fingers over to the Lord. Their life was a life of rebellion. Sodom was well known for its depravity. The Bible says it was wicked. And it was testified to God in heaven that the sin of Sodom was so bad that it needed to be dealt with. God's judgment should be poured out on Sodom, and it was. Not only Sodom, but Gomorrah as well, right? So the Bible tells us, this is what preaching that actually God.
Another one getting escorted out of the centre. It's not free, bro. You got to work for your goods. Stolen hospital chair. Let's see, is it going to get any lower? Stolen National Health Service chair.
That lady provoked it all, man.
Did you witness it?
Yeah.
What happened, mate?
A black lady, an half-caste lady down there provoked it all.
Oh, really? And then she ran away? Or what?
Started with him. He's ended up bumping into the taxi by accident.
Yeah.
And the ladies followed him round and fucking caused loads of trouble and fucked off.
Why are these two young guys getting arrested?
For nothing, really.
For nothing?
For bumping into his taxi, what was on a curb.
Oh, I see.
What was on a path.
Well, it's another Friday night in Manchester, mate.
And it's wrong.
I reckon they'll get released.
They've tried paying him for his wing mirror.
Oh, is that the taxi driver there? And that taxi there's... Oh, okay.
No, not in that taxi.
Yeah.
But he was on the pavement, turning round in the road on the pavement.
Oh, I see. And then they had a bit of an argument.
Yeah, because he's hit them
Fair
with
enough.
a fucking wing mirror.
Yeah, fair enough. No, I appreciate
You know
that,
what I
mate.
mean?
Nothing like an eyewitness on the scene.
Followed them all the way around there. All they've done is provoke him.
One sec. Thanks, mate. Thanks, mate. Cheers, mate. Thank you. Did they damage your car? What happened to your car?
He took them, yes, I don't know what. Just I dropped the customer. I'm an Uber driver. I dropped the customers.
Yeah.
And after I dropped the customers, I tried to, I stopped in the same place.
Yeah.
I don't know why. He came and he hit, there's no reason.
Got you.
Just he hit the mirror and he left.
Thank you, sir. All the best. Good luck. Hope it works out for you. Thank you. Another presentation by the Manchester Tourism Board. Come visit, especially at weekends. Moral of the story is, don't attack taxi drivers. Okay, so I was right there. I heard a gentleman talking or raising his voice from across the street. Sir, how are you?
Very good, how are you?
Good. So we're here with the background of Christian preachers.
Yeah.
What were you saying to them?
So I think the lady stopped me, and as usual, she basically saw a Jew in the street, somebody looking like he was a Jewish, and which is the usual general reaction of these people. She felt the need that this particular person, she has to make a special effort to convert.
Oh, yes.
For no other reason, simply than because he looks like he's a Jew.
Yeah.
And so...
more than the Muslims walking past or the
exactly,
atheists?
Out of all the people walking in the crowd, there's something special about me that I have to be converted as opposed to all the other people.
Maybe it's because you look more like Jesus than the rest of
them. So I don't know why, but I decided to engage her temporarily, and it became quickly evident to me that this lady didn't have a clue about anything. She didn't know what she was talking about. I mean, I asked her a simple question. Look, I'll show you a letter from the Hebrew alphabet. Are you going to be able to tell me which one it is? And so she's trying to give this kind of impression that she knows lots of things that I don't, and she's got something to teach me. And it became very evident to me that this lady has never even taken the effort to learn the Hebrew alphabet. So it just came, I'm obviously clearly wasting my time with such a person. If somebody really has a desire to learn what the truth in the world is, and the truth starts with the words of what we call the Nevi'im, the prophets, starting with Moshe Rabbeinu, which is the Torah, and this person's never even made a minimal effort to see what it actually says in the original language.
Yeah.
Not even taken the most basic step of learning what the Aleph base is, what the actual, and she's using one of like a plethora of translations, which she hasn't got a clue.
Yeah.
It's just, what exactly is it that she thinks?
So what you're saying, you want a better standard of Christian preacher in central Manchester?
No, I mean, I would just basically like to see a minimal amount of evidence that this person has actually taken some effort to discover what the truth actually is. Not just had it kind of spoon-fed to her or whatever, or there's just they've just made some steps to like some kind of discovery process. I mean, for me, it just seems like a logical step. Somebody does want to know the truth, and they're starting from the premise that the truth originates from the words of the Hebrew prophets, starting from Moshe Rabbeinu onwards, that you would actually have an interest in what those texts say in the original language. And if you can't even reach that first logical step, then obviously there's something very wrong with your method of discovering what the truth is. And so I find it very difficult to talk with such a person.
No, I can understand. So for the Muslims walking past, she might get angry that Jesus is being relegated just to a minor prophet.
Some guy who died.
And for you, a Jewish guy walking past, she's maybe upset that you've not accepted him as the savior of the Jews. Do you get any of that vibe? Or why did she specifically want to talk to you as a Jewish man?
So I'll go back a bit. I mean, I grew up in not such a religious family.
Yeah.
And at a certain point, I must have been about 20 years old. I had some kind of miraculous experience.
Yeah.
Which made me realise that God exists. And it wasn't just like a belief, it was an absolute knowledge, because he showed me in a completely unambiguous manner that he does exist.
Yeah.
And so I felt kind of an obligation to start investigating religion.
Yeah.
And even though when I was young, my father told me on many occasions that he was Jewish, even though he wasn't particularly observant, I decided to start with Christianity because it seems to be the default religion in this country. And so I interviewed various types of Christians. And I have to say, I really wasn't satisfied with the kind of answers that they were giving,
Yeah.
I mean, most varieties of Christians were saying that this guy who lived 2,000 years ago wasn't just a man, he was God.
Yeah.
Which sounded to me absolutely, completely ridiculous. I'm not quite sure how somebody could believe a notion that is so ridiculous. And then I think I managed to find one group which didn't sound so ridiculous, and they describe themselves as witnesses, and they don't make these ridiculous claims. And the other thing that I found confusing is all these different groups. They're telling me there seems to be this plethora of English translations, and everybody's saying use this one. This one is the best one, and then it gets even more confusing because you would find two people from the same denomination, and they didn't seem to be able to agree on which was the best one.
That annoys me, the whole infighting within the Christian denomination.
And so I in the end, I just came to the logical conclusion, the only way I'm ever going to discover the MS, which is the Hebrew word for truth, is if I learn the original language and read these texts in the original to see what they actually say.
Yeah.
Because I don't know which of these translations I can actually trust, because everybody's saying this one is good, this one, whatever, But, and so I passed this notion against my new friends who describe themselves as witnesses.
Yes.
And I was quite surprised with their reaction. They seem to have, in general, quite a negative reaction. That they're of the view that their organisation, which I believe is based somewhere in Brooklyn, New York, that they are some sort of holy people and they get to define everything that they should believe.
Yeah.
And somebody should not take it upon themselves to go and investigate what the text say in the original language. Which I find to be a very strange position to hold.
Very suspicious position as well. They don't want you to know.
How could you possibly not think that it's a good idea to read it in its original language?
So if I understand, you learnt Hebrew so that you could read the Torah in its original form?
I mean, I wouldn't say that my Hebrew is that deep, because, I mean, it's a very deep... So once you start actually delving into the subject, you actually realise that no translation could ever be good. Because I mean, Hebrew, the way we call it Loshin Kodesh, means the holy language. Yeah. It's a very special language. It's not like the other languages. Each just letter has very deep concepts associated with it.
Yeah.
And then the way that those concepts combine to form words, and the way that the words combine to form phrases, they're very, very deep. And if you look into the Jewish tradition, there's this notion that the Torah has Shivim Ponim, which means 70 faces. There's 70 different ways of understanding the Torah. And it gets even more complicated, because even though some of those ways might seem to contradict each other, actually they don't. And so somebody who has an ultimately...
Oh, I'm so sorry. I'm just in the middle of an interview. Sorry, sir.
Somebody who actually has a full and complete deep knowledge of the Torah would understand all Shivim Ponim, all 70 faces of it, and would also understand how they don't contradict each other, and they're all actually saying the same thing. They're all in complete agreement with each other. So, I've got these people here, and I mean, my basic understanding of the Christian religion is it sort of started out as like a minority Jewish group, and then there was this character called Paul who went around the Roman Empire and he started preaching his message to people who largely they were associated with Jewish congregations.
Yeah.
But they were.
So sorry to interrupt you. There's demons coming behind you. Just be careful.
No,
be careful.
I'm not really. But these people, they had an interest in the God of the Jews, but they weren't at such a level where they were willing to, take the plunge, get circumcised, and keep the whole Torah. And Paul,
I'm sorry, I have to wrap this up. It's unsafe for us to be around. There's people in balaclavas. No, they will.